Hi, everyone. Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So, for this practice, grab what you might need for the vinyasa flow today. You may want to have a strap and 2 blocks. And for the restorative and yin portion, some extra pillows and blanket. Let's start in a comfortable seat of your choice. You might sit up on a folded blanket. Take a moment to root down to your left and right sitting bones and lift tall to your spine. Relax the shoulders back and down and begin to tune in how you're feeling in your body, in your mind, and as you sense your breathing energetically. I wanted to share an excerpt from Nonviolent Communication by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. And here's a part that's called When Pain Blocks Our Ability to Empathize. And it's interesting because I just randomly stuck my finger in Tara Brach's book that I'm in the middle of reading called Radical Acceptance. And I read a very, very similar section about what to do when you're feeling stuck in your heart in order to be able to connect with someone. So here's what Dr. Marshall Rosenberg says: it is impossible for us to give something to another if we don't have it ourselves. Likewise, if we find ourselves unable or unwilling to empathize despite our efforts, it is usually a sign that we are too starved for empathy to be able to offer it to others. Sometimes, if we openly acknowledge that our own distress is preventing us from responding empathically, the other person may come through with the empathy we need. At other times, it may be necessary to provide ourselves with some emergency first aid, empathy, by listening to what's going on in ourselves with the same quality of presence and attention that we offer to others. Former United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld once said, "The more faithfully you listen to the voice within you, the better you will hear what is happening outside." If we become skilled at giving ourselves empathy, we often experience in just a few seconds a natural release of energy that then enables us to be present with the other person. We hear it probably pretty often, how we can't give from an empty cup. Easy to say, but what if you're in a conversation with a loved one and you're triggered by something that you feel insecure about? Taking a moment to pause, maybe even step away from that conversation kindly, and to offer ourselves empathy by listening to our own feelings and our own needs that perhaps are not being met in the moment before we continue on. So it's from that place of having given ourselves empathy that we can show up with presence. So that's going to be part of our guided meditation practice as we move into self-compassion. And let's begin our physical practice. Open up our bodies, our minds, our breaths, and our hearts. So maybe join your hands to meet at your heart, bowing in to clarify an intention for this practice. And perhaps dedicating this practice to someone that you care about, perhaps even somebody that you're in conflict with, if any. And as we open up our lungs, take a deeper inhalation through your nose, releasing any stagnant energy through the mouth. Let any sound out. A couple more rounds on your own, sipping in deeper breaths, releasing through the mouth. And now sending out our intentions or dedications and resonating them within us. Let's join our voices in 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. let's begin to deepen the breath using Ujjayi Pranayama. That's inhaling, exhaling, sustained and evenly through the nose, while softly whispering the breath by gently narrowing the back of your throat. See if you can keep the sound rhythm that you can tune into through much of our vinyasa flow first half of this practice. And let's start to make our way into standing forward fold right up at the top of your mat with feet hips distance, parallel, knees generously bent. Placing your fingertips on blocks about a foot in front of your feet, so that as you press your fingertips into the blocks, firming in your belly, you can inhale to lengthen your spine forward towards a flat back. Take a few breaths here as you continue to stretch the crown of your head towards the front wall. Slide the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Hug in the bottom of your front ribs, activating the belly with at least a slight bend in your knees. Place your left block with the left hand on top, front and center of you, and then take the second block and trace it across the lowest part of your pelvis, lower back, to keep your two hips leveled in height as you raise your right arm towards the sky. Exhaling, turning your rib cage to face the right wall, little by little. As you breathe in, continue to stretch your spine from your pelvis, pressing the shoulder blades down your back ribs. And as you breathe out, reaching up to your right hand, continue to rotate your chest open to the right side. 2 more breaths. Now replace your left hand with the right hand on the block in front of you. As you inhale, stretch the top of your head forward again, hugging your outer hips towards your midline so that you're not turning your pelvis. As you exhale, to turn your chest to the left. Raise your left arm. Inhale, continue to lengthen your spine forward and press the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Exhale, keep your hips leveled and keep turning your chest, broadening the left collarbone as you reach up to your left hand. Now take that block from your lower back and place your 2 blocks to frame the front of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Drop your knees, drop your head and bend your knees generously. Let your arms relax. And as you breathe in, start to roll up slowly, as if stacking 1 vertebra at a time. Rolling your shoulders behind the ears and down as you turn your palms to face forward, arriving in mountain pose, Tadasana. Let's flow in a variation of Surya Namaskar A, which will include warrior pose. Inhale, circle your arms apart, then join your palms to meet at the top in Urdhva Hastasana, look up. Exhale, bow with a flat back, so you might bend your knees, pressing your fingertips on the ground or your legs. Inhale, raise the top of your head towards the front wall. Step back into plank pose, knees on the floor or legs straight, and exhale to slowly glide forward. Graze your bent elbows by your side ribs in Chaturanga, and let's lower all the way down for this first one. Root down to the tops of your feet as you inhale to coil your chest up into Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Tuck your toes, engage the belly as you exhale to press up, lifting your pelvis back into downward facing dog. To the breath, inhale, lift your right leg behind you. And as you exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose, step the right foot directly between your hands, and spin your left heel down. Align front heel to arch a back foot. Inhale, cartwheel your arms into warrior 2. Keep the front knee bent. Exhale, flip the right palm up and side bend towards your back wall in peaceful warrior. Inhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh in side angle pose, sweeping the left arm towards your front wall. Look down at your right foot. Exhale from plank. through chaturanga into your vinyasa. This time cobra or upward facing dog. Then from downward facing dog, side two. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Stepping the foot right between your hands, spin the right heel down, align heel to arch. Inhale, windmill your arms to warrior two. Exhale, flip the left palm, side bend towards the back wall, peaceful warrior. Inhale, place your left forearm on your left thigh, sweeping the right arm towards the front wall, side angle pose. Look down, exhale from plank into your vinyasa of choice. We'll meet in downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Breathing in slowly as you breathe out, slowly. After your 3rd exhalation, walk or lightly float your feet to the front of your mat in a forward fold. From there, inhale, press with your hands to lift the crown of your head forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, interlacing your fingers except your index. Then to your right side, exhale, side bend. Inhale, lift up to center. To your left side, exhale, side bend. Inhale up to center. Let's take this vinyasa flow once more. Exhale to forward fold. Press down with your hands. Inhale, raise the top of your head forward. Either walk to plank or lightly hop to chaturanga. Insert your variation of your vinyasa here. From downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Exhale again, bend the knee towards your nose. Step the foot through, heel to arch. Inhale, warrior two. Sweep it back, exhale, peaceful warrior. Right forearm to right thigh, inhale, side angle pose. Exhale all the way down to your vinyasa. Maybe lifting the right foot as you lower. Breathe in. Exhale to downward dog. Last one of this. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Step it through, heel to arch. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Left forearm to left thigh. Inhale, bound angle, side angle. And exhale, down to your vinyasa. Downward facing dog, let's take 3 deep breaths. Now from here, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. And exhale, bend your right knee and rotate your thigh open at the hip. Take a few breaths, maybe rotating your right thigh a few times like you're drawing circles in the air with your right knee. Maybe rolling the right foot at the ankle. Try to keep your neck relaxed and your breath steady. Then inhale, stretch your right leg behind you. Exhale, slowly tap your right knee outside your right outer upper arm high, close to the armpit. Stepping the right foot lightly to the right side of your right hand. Place your fingertips on blocks or the floor, both inside of your right leg. Lizard lunge. Stay on the ball of your left foot as you inhale here. Keep your feet where they are and exhale, straighten your right leg by scissoring your right outer hip back as you bow inside of that leg, pyramid pose. Keep going, inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Twice more, inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Come back to your lizard lunge. Walk the right foot between your hands, spin the back heel down. And this time, grab your strap and cartwheel your arms to rise into warrior two. Now focus on wrapping your right glute slightly underneath your body, so as you bend the front knee right over the ankle, that knee opens up to point towards your pinky toe. Press the top of your left thigh bone back and feel your pelvis as neutrally upright as possible. And take the strap in your left hand, sweep your left arm behind your back so the tail of the strap dangles to the right side of your right thigh, opening up the front of your left shoulder. Keep your front knee bent and sweep your pelvis towards the back of your mat, reaching your right hand towards the front wall. Then bring your right arm to the inner side of your right thigh, catching hold of the strap. Now as you stretch the top of your head towards your front wall, scissor your right hip towards the back wall and begin to rotate your chest slightly to face the sky. Walking your hands as close together as you can onto the strap. You might clasp your hands or hold on to your left wrist. Let's take another 5 breaths in bound side angle pose. Baddha Parshvakonasana. So in this posture, you don't want to feel like you're bowing forward towards the left edge of your mat. You want to actually feel like you're leaning back slightly towards the right edge of your mat. Take one more breath here. Then take a look at your right foot and begin to straighten your right leg, placing your right fingertips just to the right side of your right shin, directly below your right shoulder. Scissoring the right hip back, raise the left arm up, arriving in triangle pose. Remember, you could use a block under your right hand if needed. Let's take a couple more deep breaths here. I'm gonna turn off the music because I think it's not playing very well. Now take a look at the ground about a foot ahead of your right hand, and let's prepare for half moon pose. Placing your right hand about 6 inches forward and out to the right upper corner of your right pinky toe on a block or the floor. Drag your left foot in and flex it, lifting your left leg to trace the midline of your mat so that you're still creating the shape of triangle pose. Maybe you're lifting the left arm towards the sky or keeping the left hand on your left hip. Check in with your breathing as you steady your gaze on one spot. Now you might explore Ardha Chandra Chapasana, a variation of half moon. In that, you bend the left knee towards your belly, taking hold of the top of your left foot with your left hand, then kicking the left leg towards the back wall as you pull the foot towards your glute, rolling the left shoulder open. Whatever variation you're in, let's take another 3 deep breaths. Slowly begin straightening the left leg if it's bent. Then arriving back at warrior two, take a few breaths there. From warrior two, place your hands to frame your right ankle. Come into a high lunge with fingertips on the ground or on blocks, separating your feet hips width apart. Place your left palm flat on the floor, spreading the fingers. Stack your left shoulder directly above your left wrist, preparing for side plank. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot flexed. Step your right foot down the middle of your mat onto the right edge of your mat facing the right wall as you raise the right arm, or stack the right foot flexed on top of the left foot flexed. And let's take another 4 breaths in your variation of Vashisthasana. Feel your relationship with the ground. Use it to lift yourself up by pressing the ground away. Feel your left hip rise. Feel the bottom of your front ribs. Hug them towards your back. Last 2 breaths. Sweeping your right arm overhead, look down at your left hand, and please step back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Slowly exhale. This time, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend your left knee and rotate the thigh, open at the hip. Take a few breaths. You might want to circle your left leg a few times or circle your left foot. Try to keep your 2 arms evenly straight. Back of your neck relaxed. Inhale, stretch your left leg behind you. Exhale, slowly tap your left knee high outside your left upper arm. Then step the left foot gently to the left side of your left hand, coming into a high lizard lunge. Fingertips on blocks or the ground, both inside of your left leg. Inhale in your lizard lunge. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, straighten your left leg by scissoring your left outer hip back as you bow inside of the leg. Pyramid pose. Let's flow. Inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Twice more. Inhale, lizard lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lizard lunge. And exhale, pyramid pose. Come back to your lunge. Step your left foot front and center on the mat. Spin the right heel down, heel to arch. Grab your strap and cartwheel your arms to warrior 2. Rotating your left glute slightly under your body, point the left kneecap towards your left pinky toe as you firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Feel the belly engage. Hold the strap in your right hand, then wrap your right arm behind your back to dangle the strap to the left side of your left thigh. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the back of your mat while reaching your left hand towards your front wall. Place the left arm on the inner side, that's the right side of your left thigh, to find the other end of the strap. As you stretch the top of your head towards your front wall, keep scissoring your left hip towards the back of your mat. As you rotate your chest towards the sky, taking another 5 breaths, you might walk the hands closer together where you clasp them, or hold your right wrist, or you might not. Pay attention to how your lower back feels. You don't want to feel any strain. In fact, this posture may help to actually open it up. Breathe in, breathe out. Bound side angle pose. One more deep breath. Look at your left foot. Start to straighten your left leg, placing the left hand to the left side of your left shin on a block or the floor. Trikonasana, right arm to the sky, triangle pose. Steady your gaze, perhaps up towards your right thumb. So feel the shape in your body and let's recreate it in flight. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Gaze at the ground ahead of your left foot. Place your left fingertips 6 inches ahead and to the left outer corner of your left pinky toe. Drag your right foot in and flex it, lifting the right leg about parallel to the floor, tracing the midline of your mat. Turn your chest to face your right wall, stacking your shoulders and maybe stacking both wrists. Breathe. Steady your gaze. Half moon pose. Now, if you explored Ardha Chandra Chapasana on the first side, then go ahead and bend your right knee towards your belly. Catch the top of your right foot with your right hand and begin to kick the right leg back as you pull the foot towards your glute, opening the front of your right shoulder. Let's take another 3 breaths here. Take your time. If your right knee is bent, first straighten the leg. Then bending your left knee, gently step back into Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, steady your breathing and cartwheel your hands to frame your left ankle, coming into a high lunge, pivoting your feet so that your hips are squared forward and your feet are hips width apart. Then plant your right hand flat on the floor, creating a stable base for side plank. Stack your right shoulder over your right wrist. Roll onto the outside edge of your right foot flexed and step your left foot down the middle of your mat onto the left edge of your mat facing the left wall, where you could use it as a kickstand or stack your left flexed foot over your right flexed foot. Left arm to the sky. Check in with your breathing. Vashisthasana, side plank. Feel that rebounding force as you root down to rise up. 3 more breaths. Sweep your left arm overhead, look at your right hand, and this time from plank pose, slowly glide forward and slowly pass through Chaturanga to make your way all the way to the ground. And then from here, take your 2 blocks, place them in front of your mat on their medium height, 2nd level height, like a train crossing in front. Then extend your arms forward. Start with your palms face down and rotate your outer upper arms or triceps towards the floor. Now entering the yin portion of our practice. Now you could keep your arms straight, so your forearms, the upper part of your forearms, the ones closer to the elbows, are on the blocks as you start to lower your forehead on the floor. Or if you're not feeling much happening there, bring the blocks close enough to you where you can bend your elbows and place them shoulders width apart, not any wider, onto the blocks. Then bring your palms together in prayer or fingertips touching. Trace your thumbs down the back of your neck, as far back as your thumbs will go, as you lower your head to the floor. Keep rotating your triceps down to spread your shoulder blades apart and send your shoulders down the back. So now in this yin posture, let's take 10 deep breaths. One more breath here. And begin to lift your head, remove your arms from the blocks, put the blocks aside, and come into Sphinx pose, placing your elbows on the floor, right under your shoulders, with your forearms parallel in front of you so you can lift your chest. Right here, bring your knees as close together as you can. Feel your 2 frontal hip bones pressing into the ground as you roll the fronts of your shoulder bones behind you and press them down. Lengthen the back of your neck by looking on the ground ahead of your hands. Take another 3 breaths here. Relax the eyes, soften the tongue and jaw. Cross your left forearm in front of your chest and bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm and catch hold of the big toe side of your right ankle or foot so that you can continue to roll open the front of your right shoulder. With your knees no wider apart than your hips distance, ground your 2 frontal hip bones again. Turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat. And for 10 more breaths, bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right outer hip. If your right shoulder is feeling pretty open, you might spin your right palm at the wrist so the fingertips face the front of your mat. About halfway through, deep breaths here. And gently release your right leg straight. Come back to both forearms on the floor in Sphinx pose as you bring your knees closer together. Then cross your right forearm in front of your chest and bend your left knee. Backstroke your left arm and catch the big toe side of your left ankle or foot. With your knees no wider apart than your hips distance, bring your left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip as your chest is completely facing forward for 10 more breaths. If available on this shoulder, you might spin your left palm at the wrist so that the fingertips face the front of your mat. And exhale, release. Place your hands alongside your floating ribs and gently press yourself up onto your hands and knees. And let's bring the legs out in front of you to prepare for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. That's soles of the feet together, knees bent apart. So as you come to sit here, if your back tends to right away round and the shoulders start to slump over, making the breath more shallow, then go ahead and elevate your pelvis on a folded blanket or a pillow. Take hold of your big toes and root down through your two sitting bones. Bring your heels, if they can, closer to your pelvis, and then lift up from the bottom of your spine as you take a deep breath. Roll the shoulders back and down, lifting through the back of your skull. Keep your neck long. Imagine you have a flat back, and as you exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips, taking your time for the next 9 breaths. Now you can continue to hold your feet, or you can walk your hands forward. You can also put a block or pillows under your forehead. Notice what may shift as you're in a pose, what feelings or sensations, or even more subtly, energy shift. Keep listening to the sound of your breath, lengthening it equally in and out. Then walking your hands closer to you if you've walked them away from your feet. Begin to lift your chest so you keep a sense of that flat back as you inhale to rise up. Nice. Extend your right leg forward and bring the sole of your left foot high up on your inner right thigh. Optional to take your strap and place it around the ball of your right foot. Either way, flex your right foot so you can firm up your right quadricep, which will help to support your right hamstring in this forward fold called Janu Shasana, head to knee pose. So plug the sitting bones down, lift up through the back of your skull, open your chest, and then exhale, begin to hinge from your hips, pointing your sternum, which is at the middle of your chest, towards your right pinky toe. 10 breaths. If you're able to reach around the sole of your right foot, you might catch hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Notice the open space between your chin and your chest. Let the breath flow there at your throat. One more deep breath. Again, with a sense of a flat back, lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise up. Let's switch legs. Extend your left leg forward. Maybe place the strap around the ball of your left foot. Turn out your right thigh and hug the sole of your right foot high up on the inner thigh. Flex your left foot with or without the strap. Roll your shoulders back and down. Sit up a little taller as you breathe in. Feel your left quadricep activate. And as you exhale, begin to reach your sternum towards your left pinky toe, breath by breath for 10 breaths. Now, if you're able to reach around the sole of your left foot, you might catch hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Last breath here in Janu Shirshasana. Leading with your chest, breathe in to slowly rise up. So now take your choice in the next hip opening posture of frog pose, whether to do it lying down. The legs are going to be the same shape. If lying down, you're splaying the thighs apart, keeping the tailbone, shoulders, and head grounded. You could bring your arms to rest on your inner thighs, and if your knees are sensitive, you can flex your feet gently. Otherwise, if you're taking the upright version, you might place your blanket just about a foot ahead of your mat so that you can place one knee on your blanket and one knee on your mat, which allows for the knees to splay wider apart as your inner thighs might become more open. So make sure you're bending your knees at right angles. Your ankles in line with the knees in line with your pelvis. Then here you can start to lower on your forearms or not. You can place your hands on pillows, whatever props you might use. And let's take 20 breaths. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out just as slowly. Regulating your mind and body with your breath. And again, notice what may shift within these 20 breaths. One more deep breath where you are. Now we're going to transition into yet another hip opening posture, continuing to explore the range. So if you are lying on your back, stay on your back and you'll begin to straddle the legs straight. You can rest the arms on your inner thighs or clasp your big toes. If you are in the more upright version like I'm in, begin by sliding the knee that is on your blanket closer to the knee that is on your mat. And then come to sit on your mat, straddling the legs apart, where you point your knees and your toes up towards the sky, rooting down your sitting bones. And from here, you can place a pillow in front of your pelvis or blocks in front of you. And then, to your degree, begin to fold forward. Let's take 10 more breaths. One more breath where you are. Now, if you're lying down, bring your hands to your outer thighs, bend your knees and draw them together. Maybe rock a little side to side, massaging your lower back on the floor. Otherwise, if you're folding forward in a version of Upavishta Konasana, then start to lift your spine upright. Bring your hands to your outer thighs, raise your bent knees, and draw your legs together. Let's come up to sit for a rather sort of a counterbalancing posture, but more focused on the outer hips, glutes, and lower back. Gomukhasana. So extend your left leg forward, cross your right thigh over your left thigh as much as you can, stacking the knees down your midline. See if it's available to bend your bottom knee too and splay the feet apart. If it feels like it throws you off balance, then you might elevate your pelvis on a pillow or a folded blanket, or keep the bottom leg straight. Then as you're evenly balanced now, bend your elbows apart and let's take Garudasana, eagle pose with the arms. So if your right leg is on top, cross your left elbow over the right. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Send the shoulders down your back as you sit up a little taller. Then you might start to bow from your hips, taking 10 deep breaths. Last breath here. Then inhale to slowly rise up, back stroking your arms and uncrossing your legs. Let's switch. Cross the left thigh over the right, stacking your knees, and maybe bend the bottom knee, splay the feet apart. Ground your two sitting bones and bend your elbows apart. Then cross the right elbow over the left, hooking your thumbs or wrapping your forearms and palms. Send the shoulders down your back. Sit up tall and begin to bow forward for 10 deep breaths, nice and slow. Next inhale, slowly rise up, back stroking your arms and uncrossing your legs. Please find a comfortable seat for our pranayama practice, which will lead us into corpse pose. So you may want to sit up on a prop. Again, make sure that your pelvis feels evenly grounded. Spine is tall, the shoulders are relaxed. So this breathing technique is Nadi Shodhana, pranayama, or alternate nostril breathing. Resting your left hand on your lap, you might choose to take a mudra, like thumb and first finger touching, help to cultivate focus, or pran mudra, inviting vital energy, which is like a peace sign, and then turning the palm face up. The right hand is in Vishnu mudra, in which you stick out your right thumb, pinky, and ring finger. Breathing just through the nose, in and out. We'll use the right thumb to cover your right nostril when you inhale or exhale through your left nostril. Then we'll use the right ring and pinky finger to cover the left nostril when you inhale or exhale through the right nostril. So alternate nostril breathing. Let's begin. Maybe closing the eyes and steadying your gaze at your brow center. Empty this breath through your nose. Hold it out. Right thumb, cover right nostril. Inhale through the left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 3, 2, 1. Cover left nostril. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in for 3, 2, 1. Cover right. Exhale through left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out for 3, 2, 1. That's one cycle complete. Next cycle, inhale left for 6. Hold it in for 3. Cover left. Exhale right for 6. Hold it out for 3. Inhale right for 6. Hold it in for 3. Cover right. Exhale left for 6. Hold it out for 3. You've completed the second cycle. Third cycle begins. Inhale 6. Hold it in for 3. Cover left. Exhale right for 6. Hold it out for 3. Inhale right for 6. Hold it in for 3. Cover right. Exhale left for 6. Hold it out for 3. You've completed the third cycle. Take 2 more cycles on your own. Finishing at your own pace, no rush. When you do finish, sit for a moment, breathing naturally, and observe how you feel. As you continue to let your body breathe just as it does, no need to control it, begin to lower your body in a position to rest in for the next 5 minutes in Shavasana. Closing your eyes as you arrive there. Continue to tune in. Bring mindfulness into your experience as you observe whatever comes and goes internally. As you continue to pay attention to your body, your mind, your breathing, just as it is, notice through the sensations in your body or something more subtle, what part of your body may be ready to begin moving slowly and gently from one gentle movement, easing into another. Begin to turn over to your right side, resting your head on your arm for a moment. A mindful pause within the transition. And after a few natural breaths, press your hands into the earth, lift your torso, lifting your head last. Please find a comfortable seat for our 10 minutes of guided meditation. So this is a self-compassion practice written mostly by Kristen Neff, who founded an institute for self-compassion studies. And this is particularly when you're needing to offer yourself empathy and compassion to meet your own unmet need, as we were talking about at the beginning of our asana practice. For example, when you're in a conversation and it becomes heated into an argument, and you might be starting to feel reactive, taking a pause from that and bringing yourself aside for a little timeout, so-called, to understand where your reactivity is coming from and to give yourself empathy so that you can approach the conversation again with a sense of presence, open-heartedness, and ability to share empathy with the other. So let's begin, eyes closed or open with a gentle, steady gaze. Allowing your body to breathe naturally, inviting open awareness. I invite you to recall a moment in which you felt a need unmet, an area in your life in which you feel an unmet or unfulfilled need. Maybe it's the need to artistically express yourself. Maybe it's the need to feel excitement or joy. Maybe it's the need to sleep. As you recall the situation in which this unmet need became known to you, picture the context, what happened, what didn't happen. And let yourself feel whatever arose in the situation when you notice that a need of yours was not being met. Sensing emotions that came up, perhaps disappointment or sadness or resentment or boredom. Make contact with whatever discomfort is now arising. And then let's focus on the need. Ask yourself, what is your unmet need? Perhaps place your two palms at your heart center. As you listen in, what is the need? that is not being met and is causing this discomfort. Now, Kristen Neff talks about 3 components of self compassion. And the first component is mindfulness. So, clarifying the actual need. Perhaps in your own words, say to yourself, this is what I need to be true to myself. Or this is important to me. The second component of self compassion is common humanity. So, without being selfish or making yourself into a doormat, use your own language to say to yourself that everybody's needs deserves to be met. That life involves both giving and receiving. Feel into your common humanity and how we all have needs. And that many needs are universal, like feeling loved or accepted or listened to. The third component of self compassion is kindness. So, how might you commit to meeting your needs? Begin by acknowledging that you will take action to commit to meeting your needs as best as you can. And if you find this challenging, you might imagine that you're reassuring a good friend that their needs are important. And in your own words, reassure yourself similarly that you also deserve to be happy. And you might leave your left hand at your heart center and place your right hand at your solar plexus, which resides your power to take action and acknowledge your self-worth, but coming from the heart. So we integrate the fierce energy of providing for your needs, Manipura chakra, solar plexus, with an inner knowing that you're already complete and whole as you are, coming from the heart center, Anahata chakra. So that you're inviting yourself to take action, not out of a sense of lack or insufficiency, but simply because you care about yourself. I know that the word action can take many forms, from doing something that is more assertive or pausing, taking rest. Now let's release this practice and sit for 1 minute in mindfulness meditation, in which you're simply observing whatever comes to your attention. Nothing is a distraction. Notice how your heart feels right now. Notice how your whole being feels. Now, if you're practicing this self-compassion meditation in the midst of taking a mindful pause from an argument or feeling triggered, as you might come back to that situation with the other, I invite you to ask yourself, what is their unmet need? Extending that self-compassion into compassion for the other. Let's close this practice, maybe joining your palms together at your heart, chanting in one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.